I'm very excited to see you here. And so let's continue to discover new features of programming languages and like not new one, but this will be useful for you, especially if you begin in JavaScript. So let's discover how we can take elements from HTML and work with them on JavaScript. So simple task, but how we can do it? Okay, first let's create HTML file. Let's call it index.html. Then let's create JavaScript file, script.js. Just simple names, why not? We're using localhost, local server, so we can check if it works. Yeah, it works, everything is fine, everything is good. Let's check our console, so everything will be working here fine. Okay, let's start with creating the template in HTML, so let's start it and let's connect our script file, script.js. Excellent, everything is good. So let's create the simplest text that it will be temp, and right here lorem ipsum $emet, and let's work with button. Click. Okay, so this text is just a simple template for text. If we don't have any with sans, something like that, so we can use simple this one and everything will be good. We don't need to think about this text and all of such things. Just make everything simple. So use lorem in Visual Studio. Okay, let's continue. So here is our elements, how we can work with it. To work with your elements in HTML, you need firstly to have these elements on your HTML file, and secondly, you need to have your JavaScript file. And to work with them, you need to work with object that calls document. This is the object that contains all the elements that are in your HTML file. That's all. All values, everything that you have in HTML, this is only one object, document. This is like simple variable. And you can take a lot of things from it. For example, let's get an element. To get an element, you need simply to write get from capital element, and then you can choose how you can take this element. You can take this element by ID, by class name, by name, by tag name and s. Here is a lot of options. I also create some new options like query selector, but you can check that a little bit later, and I will make a video about that later, so don't worry, you will discover all of these features. And let's get element, and the most simple way is to take it by ID. You just simply write by ID. And this is the function, so you need to write round brackets at the end. And this is the text, you need to write quotes. And now we can take the element. To take it, we need to write for our tag b ID, let be text. And for button, also let's write it d, let it be button, just simple as it is. Or yeah, no, let it be button. Then we need to write here text, and then how we can work with it. What is going on? Like, do we need something more? Hasn't we taken it or not? Yes, we have already taken it. So how we can check it? Just write console log and bow. Here is it. Our tag. Everything's working fine. And let's continue to implement it in our code like more professional. So firstly, you need to create a variable. For example, let text equals. Then let's create, for example, the variable for our button. It will be let button that is equal to document get element by ID button. Does it work? Console log text console log button. Yeah, it works. So everything fine. So this is firstly that you need to know. If you want to work with your elements, you just need to take an object document and then write the function get element by ID And that's pretty everything that you need. Then, how we can work, for example, with CSS, or how we can take text, or how we can work with any actions. Everything is also simple. First, if you want to take the text, you just need to write after the text, after the element that you have taken, dot text content. So it will take the text that is inside of this element. And the same for the button, text content. Let's check it. Here is it. Everything works. Let's continue. So we have taken this text, everything works, everything is fine, great, amazing. But how we can make the style here? Okay, so the text is something like simple, but not a lot of developers can use it. Like, what can we do more? We can change our style. And to change style, you just need to write your element dot style. That's all. And then you need to write the property. For example, let it be big. No, let it be color. Color red. Semicolon. Don't forget semicolon. But you can use like you can write code without semicolon, but in our case, better to write semicolon. So let's have it. It works. Everything is simple. You just need to write code with understanding. So text, then you work with what? With style, and in that style you want to work with color. If you want to work with button, we also write style, and if you want to work with background color like in CSS, you don't need to write background dash color. You need to delete this dash and work with uppercase color. So it is how it works. Yellow. Great. That's all that you need to know. And if you want to work with action, this is the most important in working with your elements. You just write the element that you want to work with, for example, button, and you click dot and then on. And on means that you will make something. On click, on hover, on mouse enter your element, on mouse leave your element. This is it. So here you can check all of the action that your element has. And there is a lot of actions on this speaking. So mostly you will use click. This is when you just click your element. That's all. So let's write function. Function, this is the action that your JavaScript has. And in this curly brackets, you write what will be done. For example, our button will change the color. Click. That's all. It works. And the same is for text. Yes, you also can click on text, and it's not a magic. Just write function, curly brackets, and inside it, what you want to do. For example, you want to change the text style color. Boom, it works. Boom, it works. Everything is maximally simple. And the last thing, the last one that you just need to know. If you work after the action with the same element that this action was handled to, you can use this. For example, you're working with button that was activated after clicking on this button. When you click on the text, you work with this tag that it was clicked. So not to write text, not to duplicate this button and trying to understand what you're working with, you just can write this. This is the simple as you see it. You just take the element with which you're working. And it can help you in a lot of the situations. When you have a list of images, and on clicking on each of that, it need to be selected, they need to be a border or something like that. Not to work with each element and to write in it and to take in it. You can just make a loop and then take it with this. If you don't understand what is loop, how we can take it, that's not a problem. We'll discover that in the future videos. But you to know for now. If you work with the same element, just use this. Oh, yeah. Everything works. So, today we discovered how we can take the element. How we can take the text or any data, like not any data, but at least text from your element. How we can change the style, how this style works. How we can work with functions here, like with actions. And how we can simplify it. That's all that you need to know for now. I'm wishing you to see my videos in the future, and I'm wishing you to be here